DNA on demand. DNA on demand.
It's Pop, it's called DJ Wild Child DNA on demand. And right now we have a special guest with us, the legendary Freeway Ricky Ross is in the building. Ross, what up, brother?
It's all good. How you doing?
Great, man, great. Thanks for coming. First of all, welcome to Baltimore.
Man, glad to be here
Yeah,
again.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I know you've been here before. We're in the lovely Cashland apparel store. But Ross, like a lot of rappers and everybody in the game right now, how they spit these songs, they emulate a lot of stuff that you lived in real life. So for those that aren't familiar with you, I just want you to give them a little background about your story and where you started.
Well, I grew up in South Central Los Angeles. Was an aspiring tennis player. Thought I was going to be getting out the ghetto through tennis. Unfortunately, I didn't learn how to read or write till I was in prison with a life sentence. So I couldn't go to college, couldn't continue my tennis career, and I found myself in a space that not knowing what I was going to do with myself. One of my friends called me, introduced me to cocaine for the first time. Started with that, $50, and went on to some days making as much as $3.2 million in one day. Got arrested at 28 years old. Got a life sentence without the possibility of parole. While I was in prison, I taught myself how to read and write, and I changed my life while I was there. You know, I made my mind up that I couldn't go back out, you know, to the dope game, that I had to come up with something new, and I just started molding myself into being the person that I should have always been.
Okay, and so how long you been home now?
14 years.
14 years. So in the last 14 years, like I know it's a culture shock being in that long, then coming out and seeing how the world has changed so much.
Not really. I mean, it wasn't really a culture shock. It was more of a surprise. You know,
right.
How people had changed. You know, it went from trying to make it to fake it till you make it.
Right.
You know, just fake it. You know, don't even try to make it no more. I mean, that was really one of the biggest things that I saw that I had to deal with. You know, like nobody was really trying to get out here and get theirs.
Right. So what you just touched on something. So, you know, I start off saying how a lot of these artists in the hip hop game emulate the life that you lived. What's your thoughts on, like you said, the fake it till you make it, or the fake it? The artists are spitting a lot of these lyrics and saying things in their rhymes that they never lived.
Well, you know, in the hip hop, you know, faking it became like a way to make it. You know, some of them actually got in, you know, by faking to be gangsters, you know, faking to be drug dealers, you know, emulating drug dealers.
Right.
But that worked for them, but it don't work for everybody.
Right.
You know, it's only a few rappers that actually, you know, make it. I mean, you could probably name on one hand the ones that, you know, made some money out of the business. So, and I think that that to rap about selling drugs is just as bad, in my opinion, as selling drugs because, when you sell drugs, you might hit hundreds of people, but when you do it on the radio, you hit millions of people. So you're talking about
Right.
now millions of people are being influenced by this music that literally been played all over the world.
Do you feel like those artists that are saying those things have the responsibility to tell both sides of the coin, like the bad side as well as the
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that anybody who's introducing somebody to the game should be telling both sides. I could only imagine if my friend who introduced me to coke for the first time would have told me that I was going to be getting a life sentence in prison. If I would have thought about it twice. But he didn't
Right.
explain that part to me. He only explained, the cars, the women, the clothes.
the highlights of everything.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
and back on the music also, I wanted to touch on this because you have a history where you were around when hip hop really started, and especially on the West Coast, and you had the opportunity to be, from what I've heard, you had the opportunity to be involved with hip hop at an early age. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, like you say, I was there at the beginning. We had our own little group where we DJ'd and we did our little parties and whatnot. And, I knew the guys who founded King T, Master Spade,
King
DJ
T, Rough
Pooh.
Rhyme, yeah.
I knew all those guys when they were kids. So, I was there at the beginning. And
And King T was like around that time when NWA first came out also.
before NWA, Dr. Dre learned how to do the drum machine
Right.
from King T and Master Spade. They taught him how to work the drum machine. I was planning on doing some hip hop. I was doing hip hop, but somebody talked me into doing some R&B. Put a lot of money into R&B, and I went that route instead
Right.
of going the hip hop
Because
route.
hip hop was still fresh at the time, so people didn't know if that was going
Yeah,
to
they
work,
told
if
me
it was going to last.
it was going to be like disco.
Yeah, they
Some
were
older
wrong.
guys with a lot of plaques and
Right.
had did a lot of music, and I believe in their judgment from their expertise, to my detriment.
So if you look back, if you had the opportunity, you would make a different decision, got more involved in, you think?
Oh, absolutely. I would have stuck with the hip hop. Well, I could have did both, but it was like, I already spent $600,000 on some R&B music, and then they
Wow.
wanted me to spend another $200,000 on some hip hop, and these was young kids, 17 years old, and I'm like,
No
I want to
business
get
plan,
these
nothing.
kids, I want to get these kids that kind of money, and I just spent, $600,000
Right.
with somebody who had gold plaques and the whole 9 yards, who drove Rolls Royces. So it was a decision, but I still probably would have made the same decision, but I would have went on and did some hip hop as well.
So tell me this. So you said you made almost over $3 million
In one day,
in one day.
I had done that before in a day.
Once you make that kind of money in one day, what do you do with that kind of money?
Spend it, give it away.
So before you got locked up, did you stash any of it away, anything like that?
Well, when I was coming up, everybody told you do real estate.
Right.
So I took my money and bought real estate.
Okay.
Created businesses. I had body shop, tire shop, shoe stores, car wash, junkyard, tow trucks. When I got in the dope game, I got in the dope game to create opportunities for people who didn't have opportunities. Because I always considered myself a hard worker, but I couldn't prove that I was a hard worker because nobody would give me a chance. First of all, I couldn't read. I couldn't fill the application out.
Right.
So I could never get the opportunity to express my work ethic, my dedication, and my loyalty.
Okay. So and I want to ask you this also because I've heard that the TV show Snowfall is based on your story. Is that true?
Yeah, it is. Me and John Singleton, who is the creator of Snowfall,
Okay. Yeah.
we
R.I.P.
went to my documentary's premiere together.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that night that we went to the premiere, I got my first demo books, and he bought one of my first books.
Okay. The autobiography?
My autobiography, yes.
Okay. And he, so what, did he just read the autobiography and look at your documentary and just steal your life? Or
Absolutely. If you go to his
Wow.
page, it's still on his page, you know, it's a picture of me and him holding the book.
Okay.
And if I'm correct, he says something like, Rick Ross, great story, snowfall coming soon.
Wow. So he didn't even try to hide it.
No, he didn't hide it.
So, did you try to fight that and try to get anything out of that?
I talked to some lawyers about it, but what my problem was with that is that I have so much stuff in the news.
Right. So it's
My story been written about so many times, you know, so many different people in so many different ways, that if you get it out of a newspaper, it's fair game.
fair game. Right.
Yeah, but if he would have just got it out of the book, if we could prove that he just got it out of the book, then, you know, it would be another story. But, you know, it was too hard. I just went through the lawsuit with the rapper, you know, who stole my name, and I spent money that I didn't have, you know,
Okay.
fighting that lawsuit. And it kind of stagnated me from doing the things that I planned on doing when I was in prison. You know, when I was in prison, I had a plan. You know, I never thought about a rapper using my name and me having to sue a rapper or John Singleton getting my book. And
what happened with that lawsuit with the rapper?
I lost for statute of limitations.
Okay.
You know, you only get 2 years to file a lawsuit, and if you don't file it within that time frame,
So what? 2 years from the time he first releases something, or
the judge, the law says 2 years from the day that the public become aware that he's a rapper and that he's using my name.
okay, but
So the judge got to pick, you know, a radio station at a certain date and place and time, even though it was a small, very small radio station in Florida that, you know, probably nobody heard of.
right.
But she said that was the day that we should have become aware that he was using my name.
So at this point, have you spoken to him in personally, or
No, we haven't spoke. I mean, we spoke when I was in jail. You know,
Okay.
I ran him down when I was in jail, but no, we haven't spoke since then.
if you had the opportunity to speak to him now, what would you say to him?
I don't know. You know, I reached out to him, you know, and told him let's come together, let's do some stuff together.
Right.
Because I don't have no hard feelings, you know. I lost the lawsuit. It probably cost him a lot of money too. The
Right.
lawsuit,
So
you
it's
know,
business, right?
Universal had like 15 lawyers in court, and they told the judge that they spent over $1.5 million fighting the case.
Wow.
So that probably came out of his royalties. So he was probably a little bitter, you know, about
Right.
it. I mean, you know, you lose $1.5 million. I'm sure he's not happy about it. You know, probably made it where he didn't get no payoff on none of those records he did.
Right.
But like I told him from the beginning, you know, that I could have helped him go to another level.
right.
You know,
I mean, I think that cosign is always important whenever you're trying to emulate anything, and
but
especially if you
I
have
can
that.
do
that
more
rec-
than just co-sign though.
Right.
You know, I read over 300 books while I was gone.
Right.
So my game is another level, and I just haven't had a chance to really express it because, you know, you need some money in this game. If you're gonna play these games, you got to have some money. So I just really been, you know, stacking my ducats up, you know, getting everything lined up so that I could really show what I could really do. And you know, with us, everybody faking, so they don't know if you faking or if you telling the truth.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
so nobody really gives you a shot. You have to take your own shot. You know, to
Right.
go out there and steal the ball, and then get your shot or get a rebound.
Right.
You know, get it off the rim.
Exactly.
I ain't gonna hand you the ball. You have to get it off the rim. So I just been trying to get it off the rim. You know, so I can get my shot.
So tell us about the documentary. So
Which one? Cracking the System?
Cracking the System, yeah. So that was released.
Yeah, Cracking the System. It been out.
Is there one still coming? Because I saw something. I don't know if it was on your website or something.
Well, you know what? I just did one with VH1
Okay.
that they were supposed to release it in May. They didn't. But Cracking the System been out about 7 years, maybe.
Okay, no, so I'm thinking about the one with VH1. Is that still coming, or what's going on with that?
Yes, I guess they're gonna release it. I don't know.
Okay.
We did it. They said it was finished. They said it was great, but they never gave us a time frame when they're gonna release it. You know, Cracking the System is great though. You
Right.
know, Cracking the System.
So for people who haven't seen that, just give them a little bit information on that one.
Well, Cracking the System is I dreamed of cracking the system when I was in jail. You know, BET had did the American Gangster, so everybody thought that I wouldn't be able to do another documentary.
Right.
But I knew that they only touched on the surface. You know, they couldn't go down in there and dig. Just like with Snowfall, you know, Snowfall touched, but my story is deeper than what they showed on TV. You know, basically what they show on TV is a bunch of violent killing, and we didn't have none of that.
Right.
You know, we ruled with brains, you know,
Right.
with love, and they never saw that before, and that's why they don't really understand my whole movement. You know, like my movement is crazy right now, and it's getting crazier, and they can't see it. Well, I'm glad they can't see it. They didn't see it in the crack game. You know, when I saw crack, when they started hearing about, as they said, this young guy in South Central that was making millions of dollars, they didn't know who I was. They didn't know what I looked like. And I'd already made, you know, gobs of money
Right.
before they ever heard my name. So I understand that you can have a movement that nobody really sees until it's too late.
Absolutely.
And that's what I feel is happening right now with my movement that I got going right now. My movement is getting strong. We should be shooting a movie this before this year's out. We're gonna start.
That was going to be my next question. So there is another movie coming out about.
Oh,
so it's going to
absolutely.
be about your life.
I gotta tell my side of the story.
Okay.
Yeah. We got one right now. It's called Untitled Freeway Ricky Ross story.
Okay.
We just hired the director. You know,
Okay.
hired a young guy. I wanted a black guy to direct. You know, but I don't know. It's something about, you know, with us. If you ain't got the money, you know,
Right.
they ain't gonna do nothing.
The needle
for you.
don't move at all.
Yeah, the needle don't move. So I got lucky, and Reginald Hutland found a young Chinese kid who was brilliant. You
Okay.
know, I'm fortunate to have him, and he's black, but he's just Korean. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So he's doing all the casting and everything.
No, he'll be the director.
Okay.
He'll probably help with casting. You know, you have what they call a casting director.
Right.
We had Kim Harding was the casting director. I don't know if she's still gonna do it, but I hope she does. You know, Kim is probably one of the biggest black casting directors in Hollywood. She casted Baby Boy
Yeah.
and a bunch of stuff. You know, for John.
So if you had the option to choose any actor, no budget, don't think about the budget, any actor in the world to play your character, who would it be?
Right now, I really like Childish Gambino.
Oh wow.
I think
Don Glover.
that he's different.
Okay.
You know, because I like to see myself as being different. You know, I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be different, and I think that he's different. I think that he could kill the role.
Wow. Charles I can't even see that for real.
No,
No, because he's kind of silly. I don't know. I mean, I guess he's the best of both worlds. I guess he got a little bit of everything.
yeah. I think he could do it. And the crazy thing, right? Because I was in Detroit. We were shooting a movie in Detroit. Now they had me playing a character, and when I get back to my room, I get a call, and it's Mike Ho, the director, and
Okay.
he was like, "Hey man, I just talked to Reginald Hutland, and Reggie told me that he'll hire me to direct your movie if you okay it." And I said, "Reggie said that?" And he said, "Yeah." So I said, "Well, you know Reggie the man." So I said, "I'll be back Monday. You know, let's go meet." So we go meet, and the dude had my whole life laid out on his computer, man, in like one day. You know,
So is there a timeline for this film, or?
I talked to one of the main producers about 2 months ago, and they said they're gonna try to shoot before the end of the year.
Okay.
So I ain't pressing them though. You
Right,
know,
no
when the
rush.
time comes, it
When it's
comes.
right.
You know, one thing I learned about, you know, doing time is when the time comes, it comes.
Right.
You know, you can't make time do what you wanted to do. You know, you just have to keep pushing in that direction, and then when it's right, it's right.
Right.
So they said this year, then before the year's out, and I'm good with that.
Nice. So I want to switch gears for a second. So you said that you read over 300 books while you were locked up,
Yes.
and I understand that you learned law also while you were locked up.
Oh yeah, I wasn't talking about those books.
What books you was talking about?
I'm talking about business books.
Okay.
You know, a guy got me to go to one of the Nation of Islam meetings, and when I was at the meeting, Farrakhan was speaking on the tape, and he said study them, and I didn't know who he was talking about, so I wrestled with that for a couple hours of who he talking about, and then when I got in my cell, it finally came to me, the people who run the country.
Right.
So I started studying all the people who run the country. You know, I just spoke today at the school, and I was trying to tell the kids that what I found out about myself is that I'm like a scientist, you know, and even in the dope game, I was a scientist because I took all those other guys who were already selling dope when I started, and I broke their game down.
Right.
You know, I analyzed them. You know, like you dissect, you know, in science they have you dissect the frog to see what's going on.
Right.
So I dissected their game. And I learned what mistakes they were making, what they was doing right, and then I would take all of the little stuff from each one of them, and I build my own.
So that sounds like a gift that you've always had.
I don't know if it's a gift. I mean, it's something that we all could do. You know, if we decided to do that, if that's something that we wanted to do. You know, if you know, when I started his clothing store here, I guarantee you he studied other people who were already doing clothes. You know? Right. Studied designers and.
No, well, I say a gift because, and I listened to you earlier at school, and you were explaining how you studied the other people selling drugs, and you learned what to do, what not to do. You saw what they were doing wrong.
Right.
So same thing you're saying with reading books about business. You're studying and stuff, but everybody doesn't have that drive to want to learn about different things.
Yeah, but see,
to analyze.
But you gotta make yourself do it. It ain't something that, you know, like, it ain't necessarily gotta be fun.
Right.
But for me, it became fun, you know, because now it became like, for me, it became like trapping. You know, like when I first started trapping, I really didn't like trapping. You know, like, damn, I gotta sell this dope to get some money, But it became a game to me to where, how much can you do today?
Right.
You know, how many points can you put on the board? And if we start looking at studying the same way, then studying becomes cool. It becomes fun. And for me, reading books became fun because now I can say, oh, I can break down Bill Gates' game. I can see what Bill Gates did. I can see what Sam Walton did, or Zuckerberg, or whoever, you know.
Right.
I can find out what they did to get to the point that they're at right now today. And once you learn that you can do that, because we all want to be great. You know, who don't want to be great?
Absolutely.
But it takes discipline. It takes work. And nobody really tells us that we have to put that type of work in. You know, you got to work as hard at your thing as Michael Jordan did in basketball.
Exactly.
You know, you got to work as hard as Kobe did. You know, you got to become in jail. I became a book rat. You know, so I would get in trouble because I had too many books up under my bed. You know, because I'm reading all the time. I want to study. I want to know who is this? What did he do? How did he do it?
So what advice would you give for people that are not just the youth, but people that are in the streets and upcoming, or people who are trying to get into different businesses, to get that kind of motivation to want to get to that point where they want to study that much and dive into whatever?
Well, you know, when I got ready to do my book, right? Because I already knew. I'm like, I can see in front of me, you know, like a couple moves. So when I started doing my book, I was like, man, these white people might not publish my book. They might not want to do my book.
Right.
What am I going to do if they don't want to do it?
Do it yourself.
Self-publish. So I started ordering books on how to self-publish your book, right? So during that process, I ran into a book that was did by a librarian.
Okay.
And she told me that the library was one of the most valuable places on the planet. Why? Because anything that had ever been done, they wrote about it. They told you step by step what they did, how they did it. She said you can go to the library and learn how to send a rocket ship to outer space if you want to, go that deep.
Yeah.
So I said I don't need to send nothing out of space. I just want to get me, a couple $1 billion,
Right.
so that I can help my people get out of this financial bind they in. And then, since I've been home, about 6 years ago, one of my boys, because I still keep in contact with a lot of dudes who were in the library with me,
Okay.
when we was in jail. And one sent me an article one day, and it said that within 20 years, black people was going to be totally broke. And, I decided that I wasn't going to let that happen. First of all, I said, oh, they ain't talking about me.
When you say black people going to be totally broke in 20 years, what's that based on?
Well, they're not talking about, the Jay-Z's, the Michael Jordans,
Right.
and the Oprah Winfrey's. They talking about our average people, And I had a discussion with my guys. We all had a little discussion about it because they disagree with me. And I said, okay, because I think we broke now. I said, can you get 10 people that you can call right now that'll give you $100?
Right.
Or loan you $100.
It's hard.
Hard to do.
these days, yeah.
So if you ain't got $100, you broke.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I said, no, they miscalculated because we broke right now.
So what would you say is what would need to be done to get out for that not to happen?
Well, we make blacks take in, I think they say $1.2 trillion a year.
Yep.
Maybe more than that now.
We spit it right back out though.
Because I haven't been keeping up with those type of numbers. But $1.2 trillion, you could buy Walmart, you could buy Zuckerberg, you probably could buy Twitter.
Right.
I think they sold Twitter for what, 200 million, 300 million. I don't remember the exact number, just not too long ago.
Right.
So you're talking about that we could own some of the biggest corporations in this country if we took that money and channeled it in the right direction. But the problem is that we don't channel our money. We buy things that are worthless. I tell people all the time, I say we give away everything.
Yeah.
We give away our vote, we give away our money, we just give it away. We give away our attention because they pay for attention right now.
Right.
They want to know what you looking at, what you thinking about. So we just have to take our stuff and focus it now.
Okay. So with your book and everything that you've done since you've been home, documentary, everything, movie you have coming, what's the main thing that you want to get across to people, black people specifically?
Become critical thinkers.
Nice.
Stop letting other people think for you.
Nice. Is before we get out, is there anything else that you would like the world to know about not just all your projects that you have coming out, but about Freeway Rick Ross?
I think they get a good idea, who I am and what I stand for. I don't sugarcoat what I do, how I feel. When I say what I feel, even if people don't like it sometimes, they say, "Oh man, you shouldn't have said that." Well, that's how I felt, And if I don't say how I feel, then I'm lying.
Right.
If I tell you what I think you want to hear, just to get your applause, then something wrong with me.
Absolutely. That's what it is, man. Well, I appreciate you coming through.
I appreciate you.
Let them know also. I almost forgot you have a dispensary also.
Yeah. And you go to Freeway Ricky's with the S on the end of the Y. Give me a Google like. I need them Google likes. They whooping me out there with that dispensary, boy. My mama said, "Be careful what you ask for. You might get it." I got
That's
that
in
dispensary.
Los Angeles, right?
And that thing got me pulling. I ain't got much hair already. I'm pulling it right now.
Well, it's the market's kind of oversaturated out there, isn't it?
It is. But I think it's a market that we definitely need to be in. We one of the biggest consumers of cannabis, and they were trying to lock us out the business.
Have you thought about doing other states, other cities?
Yeah, I'd like to get one here. This would be a great market.
Probably be wide open here.
Yeah. I got a couple friends that's trying to get them here, and I would like to get one here. I just, the one I got now is just like driving me crazy.
Gotcha.
So trying to keep it and get it on the right track.
Yes, it's trial period. So you get to the next one and then it blasts off because you already made all the small mistakes. I get it. Well, cool. Freeway Rick Ross, thank you for coming once again. Watch out, DNA
Thank you
on
for having me
demand.
down here.
Absolutely, man. This has been incredible. He's going to be running around the city, so check him out.
Yes. Appreciate you, man. That was cool.